Hey basketball fans! Today we're diving headfirst into the wild world of NBA trade rumors. Remember when Luka Doncic led the Dallas Mavericks to the Western Conference Finals? Good times. But guess what? In a shocking turn of events, the Mavericks went from a playoff contender to a lottery team in just the blink of an eye. Now rumor has it that Luka might be growing impatient with the situation. In fact, if the Mavericks don't shape up quickly, he might even ask for a trade next summer. Whoa, that's DEFCON 1 in Dallas. So today, we're journeying to find which NBA teams are best prepared to woo Luka Doncic. We'll rank the top 10 non-Mavericks teams based on their trade assets, existing talent, market appeal, and even pre-existing relationships. Before we dive in, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. And if NFL content is more your style, go check out End Zone Football. The link is in the description below. Number 10. Detroit Pistons. Get ready to rev your engines because we're heading to Motor City. I know what you're thinking. The Pistons? Well, they may not be the hottest team in the league, but they've got something up their sleeve. Their rookie sensation, Cade Cunningham. Sure, he may not have the same level of proven skills as Ball or Halliburton, but boy, does he have upside. The Pistons have a whole squad of younger players to sweeten the deal. And hey, they may have a new front office, but history shows they're not afraid to make bold moves. They've pulled off some impressive trades in the past. Remember the Rasheed Wallace deal? Or the Mark Aguirre deal? Those trades brought them championships. They've also got Arn Tellem, an experienced player agent in their front office. With his insider knowledge and connections, they'll have a better idea of how to cater to a star of Doncic's caliber. Number 9. Orlando Magic. Let's talk about why Orlando has always been an attractive market for players. Warm weather, palm trees swaying in the breeze, and a stone's throw away from the glitz and glamour of Miami. Oh, did I mention no state income tax? Let's take a trip back to the year 2000. The Magic nearly kicked off the super team era. They were eyeing some of the biggest names in the game: Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, and the legendary Tim Duncan. But alas, Duncan decided to stick with his team at the last minute, leaving Orlando fans wondering what could have been. Fast forward over 2 decades later, enter Luka Doncic, the man who could give the Magic a second chance at creating their own super team. Let's not forget about Paolo Banchero, the ultimate desirable player in this trade discussion. His contract situation is like a golden ticket for the Mavericks. They could have him for the last 2 years of his rookie deal and his entire second contract. With Banchero on board, the Mavs would have all the time they need to rebuild a winning team around him. The Magic already have a versatile frontcourt duo in Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter Jr. With Doncic, Wagner, Carter Jr., and some savvy moves after the trade, the Magic could surprise everyone and put together a winning squad. Number 8. Houston Rockets. Let's talk about why Houston is such an appealing destination for players. It's like Orlando, but with a little extra spice. The warm weather, the lack of state income taxes, and they've actually managed to land a few stars in recent memory. The Rockets have a trio of exciting young talents that could potentially reach all-star status in Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, and Alperen Şengün. These guys have the potential to make some serious noise in the league. Add in the fact that the Rockets are sitting on a goldmine of future Nets draft picks, and you've got a recipe for success. But here's the juicy part. Remember those persistent James Harden trade rumors? It seems like Houston is itching to get back into contention sooner rather than later. If they haven't splurged all their assets by next summer, Luka becomes an option they simply can't ignore. Doncic might be the key to unlocking the Rockets' championship aspirations. Imagine Doncic orchestrating plays with Smith, Green, and Şengün while future draft picks roll in like a never-ending buffet. It's like Houston is building their own intergalactic basketball empire, ready to conquer the universe. Number 7. Boston Celtics. We all know the Celtics aren't afraid to explore daring deals. Remember when they were willing to consider a Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant swap last summer? That is some bold thinking right there. So it's safe to say they'd be open to a similar deal for Doncic. But hold your shamrock, Celtics fans. The situation is a bit of a pickle for the Celtics to navigate practically. You see, Jaylen Brown has had enough of those pesky trade rumors swirling around him throughout his NBA career. So if the Celtics haven't already signed him to a contract extension by next summer, they probably wouldn't risk approaching him about a sign and trade to Dallas. To make this trade work, the Celtics would have to get Brown signed to an extension this offseason. If Brown is locked in, and the Celtics haven't hoisted the championship trophy in 2024, then exploring a Brown and picks for Doncic swap starts to make a whole lot of sense. Imagine Luka and Jason Tatum, a dynamic duo that would make opponents tremble in their sneakers. Doncic's playmaking prowess would cover up Tatum's slight deficiency in that department, while Tatum would become an even more efficient scoring machine with defenses focusing on his new superstar teammate. It's like adding rocket fuel to an already blazing fire. Number 6. Toronto Raptors. If the Raptors are truly willing to part ways with the talented Scottie Barnes in exchange for Luka, we're in for a trade frenzy. Toronto has everything else it needs to build a championship-worthy squad around Doncic. Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and OG Anunoby are all potentially hitting free agency in the next 2 summers. Can they be re-signed or signed and traded? That's the big question. The Mavericks made a deep playoff run by surrounding Doncic with a lineup filled to the brim with length and defensive prowess. And guess what? The Raptors practically specialize in being a team length and defense kind of squad. They bring the intimidation factor. Siakam may not be your traditional superstar, but he's already proven that he can shine as a second fiddle when he supported Kawhi Leonard during their championship run. The Raptors have a lot going on right now with moving parts all around. Their star players need new contracts. Their coach might be Houston-bound, and this season has been a bit of a letdown. But hey, on paper, the Raptors still make a fantastic fit for Doncic. Number 5. Utah Jazz. I know what you're thinking. Utah? Really? But hear me out. The Jazz may not be the first team that pops into your mind when discussing Doncic's potential landing spots. However, they've got a few cards to play that might just make them a contender. They currently have a whopping 11 tradable first-round picks coming their way in the summer of 2024. That's a treasure trove of assets. And let's not forget their 3 picks of 2023. With all those picks, Utah can put together a suitable offer for Doncic without having to sacrifice their all-star starter, Lauri Markkanen, or their defensive starter, Walker Kessler. These two would be crucial in convincing Doncic to stay in Utah long-term. Utah has never been a top destination for big-name free agents, but hey, remember when Boston was considered a free agent wasteland before Danny Ainge worked his magic? Well, Utah's president knows a thing or two about building a winning culture and convincing players that they can compete for championships. So, with a shrewd front office, a boatload of draft picks, and the allure of a winning environment, the Utah Jazz have officially entered the Doncic sweepstakes. Number 4. New Orleans Pelicans. Before we get into it, let's address the elephant in the room, Zion Williams' injury woes. If our dear friend Zion can manage to steer clear of the injury bug next season, the Pelicans become an intriguing option for Doncic. Picture a healthy Zion and a charismatic Doncic teaming up on the court. It's a dream come true. The Pelicans have the potential to build an offer that'll make Doncic's eyes light up. They've got players like Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels, and Herb Jones that they can throw into the mix. Or if they prefer, they've got a stash of picks, including their own and a couple from the Bucks and the Lakers. What's great about the Pelicans situation is that they can make a compelling offer without sacrificing the flexibility needed to construct a winning team around the Doncic-Zion duo. It's all about finding that perfect balance, like cooking up a delicious gumbo with just the right blend of ingredients. And let's not forget, the Pelicans haven't even had the chance to showcase their healthy roster over a reliable sample size. Who knows? They might just surprise us all and contend next season, deciding to keep their roster intact. Number 3. New York Knicks. The good news is that if things go downhill for the Mavs and Doncic decides he's had enough a year from now, the 2024 pick they owe the Knicks could become a shiny gem of value. Let's talk about the Knicks' secret weapon, Jalen Brunson. This guy knows how to make an effective recruiting pitch to Doncic because they've already reached the Western Conference Finals together. And with Brunson leveling up his game and the bright lights of the New York stage to attract supporting players, the dynamic duo could be competing for titles at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks have been building and strategizing for this very moment. They've amassed a stockpile of picks, 7 unprotected picks and 4 swaps to be exact. They're armed to the teeth with assets to throw at Dallas in a potential Doncic deal. But let's not forget the poetic justice here. This trade could be the ultimate redemption for the disastrous Kristaps Porzingis trade. It's like history has come full circle. Once upon a time, the Mavericks thought they were giving Doncic a super team by striking a blockbuster deal with the Knicks. Well, that prophecy could become a reality with Doncic donning the orange and blue. It's a storybook ending to a long and winding tale. The Knicks have been patiently waiting for this moment, and it's time to unleash their master plan. Number 2. Denver Nugget. Let's imagine the intriguing possibility of Luka joining forces with Nikola Jokic. The Nuggets may be fresh out of tradable first-round picks, but fear not. They have an enticing offer they play, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. That's right, 2 young potential all-stars that could sweeten the deal for Dallas. The Mavericks could then flip these for draft picks if they decide to hit the rebuild button. But let's be real, folks. The Doncic-Jokic pairing won't be an immediate slam dunk. Doncic, the high-usage maestro, and Jokic, the egalitarian offense advocate, have different styles. They're not exactly known for their lockdown defense, and their shooting is good but not exactly sniper level. It'll take some time and tweaking to figure out how to maximize their incredible talents together. The rest of the Nuggets roster would need some love too, but the upside potential, it's sky high. Imagine a possible dynasty in the making. Jokic and Doncic, 2 of the best players in the NBA, joining forces on one team. It's almost unfair to the rest of the league. The basketball world would tremble in the wake of the greatness. If Doncic has a say in it, the Nuggets might just become an unstoppable force to be reckoned with. Number 1. Oklahoma City Thunder. Picture this, it's 2024. 5 years after the Thunder's heroic rebuild, they've assembled a jaw-dropping arsenal of trade assets. 12 tradable first-round picks, plus a boatload of swaps that have more value than your average coupon. And let's not forget, they've already got an MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 2 rising stars in Josh Giddey and Jalen Williams, and the highly anticipated debut of Chet Holmgren, the number 2 overall pick. Who knows? Another young stud might even emerge by next season. The big question is, will Luka Doncic want to live in the land of tornadoes and cowboy hats? Oklahoma might not be the obvious choice for every player, but hey, we've seen stranger things happen in the NBA. Here's the kicker. If it turns into a true bidding war, nobody can outdo the Thunder's trade offer. After 5 years of meticulous building, they've reached a point where they can effectively trade for any player they desire, as long as the player is available. And if Doncic is available, and the Thunder want to get into the sweepstakes, there isn't much any other team can do to stop them. And that wraps our discussion on the top 10 possible destinations for Luka Doncic. Where do you think he'll end up? Sound off in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, folks, keep ballin'!